Guys, we're back. Arbitrum ecosystem update. This time, ETH Denver edition, technically, because I'm here at a hotel in Denver. But nonetheless, we'll do a regular update as usual. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Everything I say is my opinion and my opinion alone. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. First tweet is by myself, and here I'm talking about the Arbitrum DAO. I say that the Arbitrum DAO is cooking today at ArbGovHack. So for a little bit of context, here at ETH Denver, there's a couple of Arbitrum-related events going on. One of them is ArbGovHack, which essentially is hosted by Hack Humanity, a team that's used to throwing hackathons, but in this case, they're throwing a governance-related hackathon for Arbitrum, and all of the delegates and the community members. So here I kind of just take a picture at the actual event since I was there earlier today about all the different tracks that they're actually discussing, talking about, and maybe even crafting proposals for the actual DAO. A couple of those include contributor onboarding, activation and engagement, betting on builders, game development and incentives, strategic big bets, DAO operational excellence, orbit adoption strategy, grants ecosystem, as well as DAO BD strategy. So a lot of different tracks that they're talking about, a lot of different things that people I guess, just trying to kind of get a good grip of what people are kind of thinking in terms of where the DAO should go. And for what it's worth, there's a lot of people there. I think there's about like 50 to 60 people when I was there earlier today. This is only the first day. It goes up until Wednesday, the 28th. And if you are in Denver yourself, I think you're free to stop by actually on the last day of it, which will be kind of like a socializing thing versus the workshop-y thing happening between today and tomorrow. That being said, shout outs to Hack Humanity and the rest of the Arbitrum DAO community, the delegates, etc., for showing up today and for the next couple of days, I'm sure, just strategizing to see where the DAO should go. And I also have a picture here of Disruption Joe talking about some governance-related stuff at GovHack itself. So yeah, shout outs to Disruption Joe. Definitely a great contributor within the DAO. We have a tweet here by 0xSmack. They say that Arbitrum Stylus will be more impactful than 4844 for shaping both the L2 landscape and market dynamics versus integrated L1s. Said another way, Stylus will increase the velocity with which Arbitrum continues to separate from the rest of the L2s. I want to kind of make a quick point here. This is kind of a reshoot, and the first time I kind of spoke a little bit too much, but in a nutshell, EIP4844, while it will be very impactful for the Ethereum community, it's not going to be as groundbreaking of a fee reduction as people think. I think a lot of people are saying 100x, very, very high number kind of decrease in fees. When in all reality, most of the decrease in fees you're going to see will not hit 100x like decreases, right? You're not going to have a swap go from like, I don't know, like maybe 25 cents one day to like 1 to 2 cents another day. Given the same conditions, right? With EIP4844, it's just not going to happen. More likely, you're going to see like 30 to 50% maybe decreases in particular transactions. But I think going to market with telling people that when the EIP is going to hit, we're going to see 100x decrease in transactions. You're just kind of like giving firepower to the people who don't like Ethereum. In all reality, so that I hate to see that stuff personally, and where this kind of ties in with Stylus is that so for those who don't know, Stylus essentially allows you to develop Rust, C++ based smart contracts on Arbitrum based chains. It's essentially an upgrade for Arbitrum chains, currently on testnet, but so the actual ability to code in Rust in particular allows for much more efficient smart contracts. In this case, from a computational perspective. So that's where you'll see a ton of gas savings. In all reality, where Arbitrum chains are kind of the matter. And Smack makes a good point here, and this is kind of where Arbitrum really starts to diverge from other L2s. A lot of other L2s, I think, at this point are still just trying to really figure out the decentralization and kind of security aspect of their chains. Not necessarily innovate beyond Ethereum. Arbitrum is one of the few L2s that is actually, essentially almost, hitting that sweet spot of essentially fully just taking on Ethereum security, like, compared to every other chain, but also like innovating way beyond Ethereum, which is kind of the point of L2s. Like literally, by the end of the year, most likely you'll literally be able to develop a multiple language on an Arbitrum chain. Besides Solidity, which is insane, right? And that's the kind of stuff that it's beneficial to Ethereum, because if it's possible, if you're able to make groundbreaking changes like that on L2s that work long term, those are potential things you could talk about actually having available on Ethereum mainnet, which can set itself up for the ability to compete with other L1s coming out. Because Ethereum does need to compete, and right now it's competing at the L2 level, but L1 is still very important, and it needs to innovate to a certain extent. So all that to say that I agree with Smack, and it was a great tweet and very thought-provoking, at least for me. Let's move on to Castle Capital. They say, Castle Research. This time around, we've teamed up with Revelo Intel to bring you the hottest scoop on Arbitrum, where it's at, where it's come from, and where it's headed. The state of Arbitrum in the year ahead. I haven't actually read the article, so, do take it with a grain of salt. But these guys are, Castle Capital in particular, they've been contributing to the Arbitrum DAO for quite some time now. And essentially just, it looks like they did a lot of research on what was happening within the DAO, research stuff. They even have chain clutches mentioned in here. That's pretty dope. These guys clearly seem to know what they're talking about. Definitely take a look at this article when you get a chance. And of course, always do your own research. But what I will say is that I love to see stuff like this coming out, because information is the number one thing the community needs. More information being directed towards community members. It's the reason why I do these videos. It's because at the end of the day, I'm not saying anything new. I'm literally just regurgitating what I see on my timeline day to day and what keeps me up to date with the ecosystem. So to me, the best way I can benefit Arbitrum as a community, as an ecosystem, is making sure everyone essentially knows what's going on. That's probably the hardest thing to do, to keep up to date with what's going on within the ecosystem, because there's so many things happening, and even I miss things that happen day to day within these videos. But the idea is to provide as much perspective on what's going on. So arming you guys with information, essentially. And this essentially, I think, is what this research looks like. This is essentially what Castle Capital and Revelo did with this research. So definitely check it out. Check it out when you get a chance. Take a look. And yeah, shout out to these guys for putting out what seems to be a pretty good report. Again, I haven't read it yet, so yeah. All right, we have a Trestle Protocol. They say that we are proud to announce our partnership with Caldera as our RAS partner. Thanks to our partnership, Trestle will be launching Celestia's first Arbitrum Web chain utilizing Celestia DA. This will bring further adoption to the wrapped TIA ecosystem. Testnet soon. I'm going to breeze by this one very quick just because I don't have a ton to say on it. But what I did want to say, if anything, was I love to see people using the Arbitrum Orbit stack to just build whatever they want to build. Very basic statement there, but what I'm getting at is you're not tied into any ecosystem. You're not tied into any governance. You're really not tied to the Arbitrum community or marketing at all when you use the Orbit stack. But you get all the benefits of having full customizability over your chain and the same kind of, battle-tested hardware that powers the biggest L2 today. And to me, I love seeing that. That's why I love seeing posts like this. They're not necessarily saying they're talking about the Arbitrum ecosystem, the community, the DAO, whatever. They're just using the technology the way it's supposed to be used, with underlying data availability going towards Celestia. And these guys seem to be more in the Celestia community more than anything else. But I think the cool thing is that it all ends up benefiting Arbitrum as a community no matter what, because people will see that, hey, the fact that people are using Arbitrum technology in a completely different ecosystem shows that there's something that works very, very well about it. If nothing else, that alone to me, I think is great. And it's just it gives it more staying power. And I think in 2024, you're going to see an astronomical amount of Arbitrum Orbit chains launch. I think Steven, co-founder and CEO of Offchain Labs, had said that maybe he expects around 50 to launch. I could totally see that happening. It's only February, and there's a ton There's a ton launching. I want to say there's 5 on mainnet at least today. There might even be a lot more than that too. I don't know. There's a ton. Anyways, shout out to Trestle. Look forward to seeing that on mainnet. All right, we got a tweet here by SudoSwap, an on-chain NFT AMM. Some of you may be familiar with it. They launched, I think, quite some time ago on Ethereum. I don't want to say this is the first time they've migrated to a different chain, but nonetheless, they're on Arbitrum. I'm not sure if this is permissionless or whatnot, if I can go start aping, kind of trading my small brains for another NFT or, vice versa. But it's really cool to see like kind of like an OG, like degen kind of NFT protocol on Arbitrum. I'm looking forward to see more NFT activity on Arbitrum too. You got Prohibition, you got Nifty Kit, you got a ton of like the different kind of art, gaming based apps on Arbitrum already. So just seeing more NFT like kind of infra apps, like, which I kind of consider SudoSwap being, launching on Arbitrum. You're only going to see more like NFTs and whatnot kind of happening. So shout out to SudoSwap for launching on Arbitrum. Make sure to take a look when you get a chance. Looks like they might even have, looks like they're actually launching with Mosaic, who is dropping their NFTs with a Dutch auction. Classic Dutch auctions. The Dutch ones, when they like go, when the price goes low as the time goes on, I don't know. Anyways, shout out to SudoSwap. Good stuff. All right, tweet from Carell. Carell says, Treasure's desktop app is coming to you later in 2024, together with one of their first flagship desktop titles. Excited to partner with a team advised by the creator of Steam to bring this to life. One of many steps we're making to drive mass adoption of gamers to Treasure. Treasure desktop app, wow. It's pretty crazy. This to me is akin to what Steam has, obviously like the Steam store. You have the BattleNet store if you want to, if you play Call of Duty. And of course, like Epic Games has their own store, for example. So this is kind of like their answer to that. That's what it seems like. And it's being powered by something called the Distribution of Games Protocol. Really exciting stuff. I've never heard of these guys in particular, but then again, I'm not a huge gamer, Web3 gamer, I should say. But really excited. Currently I think there's both Zai and Cometh are the only gaming-based orbit chains that are live today. This is a really cool announcement because this is kind of off the heels of Treasure saying that they're launching their own chain, Treasure Chain. So really by the end of the year, I'm fully expecting there to be multiple different gaming chains live using the Arbitrum Orbit stack. All kind of going to market with their own formula per se, and it's really exciting. I will say, as it pertains to Treasure, I am really excited to use my small brains in potential Smallville game. I got a lot of small brains, and I got to do something with them. But yeah, shout out to Treasure. Really cool to see them launching with this desktop app, and definitely I think the direction that I think games should be definitely going as an industry in terms of like trying to attract like the Web 2 individual, the Web 2 gamer. Like that to me is the goal, not just recycling players and money within the same group of people. But yeah, shout out to those guys for doing that. I think it's cool. All right, we got a tweet from KCast, and this is actually going to be the last one for the day. He says, why is no one talking about this? Essentially here, they're talking about GMX chain. So it's funny because there's actually he sends a link to a Substack here. I'm not sure if this is the official GMX Substack. It might be. But I did want to point out that there's a forum post where a couple of contributors, who they say right here, they are GMX contributors, post about GMX. It makes more sense for GMX to stay on Arbitrum, and of course Avalanche as their home chains, versus launching on a different chain. Let me be clear here. Again, I'm not sure if this is kind of coming from the main team themselves. Like it's from the Substack, so it actually might be. And we can actually just continue reading it real quick. I think it's literally the same thing. Yeah, it's literally the same thing. Okay, good. It's the same thing. It only makes sense for GMX to stay on Arbitrum because of a multitude of things, but if nothing else, the amount of dApps that have already integrated within GMX. Arbitrum 1 is essentially the home of liquidity for crypto. It's literally like the home of crypto liquidity, besides Ethereum, right? It's like literally when you're talking about, when you want deep liquidity for trading or for anything like that, Arbitrum 1 is essentially like where you need to be. So for GMX to kind of essentially like go to their own chain, have to migrate liquidity over, have to tell their partners to come over because of all the integrations they already had, and kind of like almost divorce themselves from the community that they've already built on the Arbitrum 1 kind of main chain. It wouldn't really make sense to me. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be able to make it on their own chain. There are other derivatives protocols that have their own chains that are out there, like DYDX and I think Lyra is. Is Lyra a derivatives protocol? I don't even know. I forgot. Options. It's not to say that they wouldn't be able to make it. It's more so that the cost benefit just isn't there. Like they have so much there's so much staying power on Arbitrum 1, and they have so many integrations already that it just really wouldn't make sense, at least in my opinion, for them to do that. And again, I'm not saying that the team is saying this, it's actually just the community members that are literally arguing for the same thing that I'm saying. But people were talking about it a little while ago, and I didn't put it in the last video, so I thought I'd mention it in this one. But nonetheless, GMX, I think it'd be good to stay on the home chain. Some people back in the day, people referred to Arbitrum 1 as the GMX chain anyway. So and they actually called it Treasure Chain at some point too. So that classic times. All right, we're gonna end it off with a shill for Beneath the Layers as usual, guys. If you haven't seen it, it's a community-focused show dedicated to showcasing entrepreneurs in Web3 and telling their stories, hosted by your boy. A new episode's probably going to be coming soon, but in the meantime, make sure you take a look at the current ones on YouTube, X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. They're all over. You've interviewed people from such as Ellie from Starkware. We have G-Funk from Pixel Vault. I think we also I literally just skimmed past her for a second there. Jill from Espresso Systems. Ton of great guests. So make sure to take a look. And yeah, that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. All right, peace out.